What's up, guys? So the time has come and I finally got a chip in the Hellcat, guys. I knew sooner or later I was gonna end up getting something on it because I've been driving it, you know, quite a ways to different shows and different places. So I wasn't looking forward to it, but I was wiping it down at the last show I went to and I noticed there was a chip on the fender. So in this video, I'm gonna show you how you can fix a chip without painting the fender or whatever part of the car that's actually chipped. The last thing I want to do is paint this car, and you guys know I paint cars, so I just want to have a factory paint job on it. I don't want to have to take this car apart, dismantle it, you know, and paint it. But so I'm going to show you how to fix a chip without painting the car, and you guys could do this on your cars too. And so let's watch this one as I fix it. So let me show you the chip, by the way. See that chip right there? See it? So it's got a chip in it right on the top of this fender here. It's probably from a rock coming off of the highway the other day. I noticed it, but it's in a good spot. So I'm gonna show you guys how I handle these and a way that I can fix it with not having to paint it. So stay tuned as I go ahead and show you how I do it, guys. So here's a couple of the things I use. Just basically some cleaner, and these are my touch-ups, my clear, my hardener, and my base. So stay tuned, and we're gonna go ahead and fix this chip. So the first thing you want to do is get some soap and water and clean that where the chip is with some soap, some water. And then you want to get some solvent. That way you're, in case there's any wax deep down in that chip. I haven't waxed the car since the chip happened, so I know there's no wax down in there, but when you're wiping off a car, even though I got this chip after the fact, you could still wipe some wax that might have been on the car into that hole. So you want to make sure you clean it real good and around the area. So, because the biggest thing about this working is having that paint actually stick in that chip. So you guys see the chip? It's a pretty big chip. And so the first thing I got to do is you want to scuff inside that chip and around the area of it. Try to get down in there pretty good, because you want that paint to stick the best it can. So I'm just scuffing it up so you guys can see there it's scuffed out pretty good. So you guys could see that the color is actually chipped out. It's like white now where it's gotten chipped. So the first thing you want to do is you got to get some color down in that chip, and you don't want to put too much color on it because you're going to put your clear over the top. So I'm touching this up with a base coat, clear coat, and you know, you could use single stage if your car is black or white, or if you guys have some single stage metallics, but I like using the base clear, and that way I can get the base down deep inside that chip, and then I can start filling it with the actual clear coat. So you can see what I mean there, how deep it is. Because if you just put the paint, the clear, it won't work because you actually have a white spot. So I'm gonna hit this with a little 15 too. Try to get it down in that crack, because I want it to stick the best it can. The good part about this chip is it's actually on the top. So now when I fill this, it's not gonna wanna run or fall out of the chip. Because when it's on the side panel, it's a little harder because you have to do it slowly, because the paint's gonna wanna run out of the chip. But being I'm up on here, I got kinda lucky with this. So I'm gonna go ahead and put some of the base coat on it. I mixed up a little base And so I'm gonna try to fill just that hole. So you guys see this little metal. It's a real thin piece of metal that I got right here. And I like to use this to fill the hole because I want to get the paint. You see this touch-up brush is too big and it's gonna get all over the place. So I don't want to have something that big doing it. So I want to use this little small teeny wire just so that it gets down into the actual chip. So hang tight and I'll start putting some of that in there to show you how it works. All right guys, so like I said before, see how thin that wire is? It's just a small, this is to clean out the air cap on your gun. This came with one of my small DeVilbiss guns. But this will fit right into the middle of that and fill in that chip without getting it all over the place, because I have to put the color down, then I have to put the clear on top. So I learned this trick when I had a pinhole. You know, you guys know painting, you'll get a pinhole here and there. And I've worked with some of these MIG wire I used to use to fill pinholes without getting it all over the place. And I've seen them use, some of these guys have these new little touch-up, like looks like a gravity feed touch-up brush with a little pen head on it. And I'll tell you, it works beautiful. I don't have one of those, so I'm gonna do my way, the old school way that I used to do it. All right guys, so I got it filled and I just gotta let it dry because this is a water base. So it looks a little different as we speak. But it's filled. I'm gonna let it dry and it'll settle down. You can see it's kind of a little bit bubbled up and you can see it a little bit lighter at the moment, but it's gonna dry. And when that dries, it'll settle because that water is gonna come out of there, that evaporation of that water base. And then we'll hit it with the clear. So I'm gonna put the fan on it for a minute and let it dry, and then we'll hit it with the clear. So stay tuned and we'll get back at this in a second. You know, it's not the Becca system, but a fan will blow on it and a fan will dry it, just like the fans in the booth. So I'm doing this at home, and you just got to use what you got. So if you're using solvent, you won't have to worry about it too much drying. It'll dry quick, but the water base likes to take time, especially if it's humid out. So we'll see you here in a minute, guys. All right, guys, so I had the clear and I had the hardener. And I went ahead and mixed it in this cup. I didn't want to mix all that up so I could use it for other times. But I went ahead and mixed it in this little cup here. Now when I do it on the clear, I take tape and I roll it up and I make a little tip on it because I don't need it. I need it to be bigger than that actual needle. So I use the needle to fill the hole first, or a piece of MIG wire. MIG wire works really good. The best thing to do is scuff it, clean it, and then sand around the chip. You don't want to sand it and make a hole in it. You just want to sand it so that you're getting this to stick, because the key is getting this to stick. And then once it dries, you hit it just like you would a dirt nib. So let's go ahead and touch it up and fill in that hole. And like I said, I'm lucky that it's on top of the fender because it's flat. So I won't have to worry about it running down the side of the car and putting it on slow. I could kind of fill that hole all at one time with the touch-up brush. But if you guys are doing it on like a side, just put a little bit on, let it dry, put a little on, let it dry, and you'll have to build it up slowly because it's on the side of your car. It'll want to run down on the car. So you can't just put a big drop, otherwise it'll start flowing down. So take your time with it and do the same steps here that I'm showing you, and you should have success. So I'm gonna go ahead and touch it up now. That base is dry, and just fill the actual hole, like I said, with the clear coat. So, all right guys, so we got that base coat all dried up now. And I was telling you before, I use the tip of a rolled up piece of tape because it's a perfect point for what I need. And the main key to this is just getting it to stick to that real good. So So you just want to fill that hole. So it's all touched up and you want to fill that hole, and you got to let that dry now. So you see that I got it filled in with the clear. So that's just the way you do it, guys. And you let that dry now. So we're gonna let that dry overnight, so that way it's rock hard. And then I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys how to sand it and buff it and get it back to looking good. So hope you guys like this video. Stay tuned for part 2 of it. And we'll get this looking like it hasn't even happened, guys. So thanks for watching.